Hello, everybody. Welcome to the end of Browsers 3000. Browser 3000, been 6 weeks of hacking on various things. And now we are going to announce the winners, share with you some of the outcomes, some of the amazing projects that people built. And before we begin, this event, as always, covered under the IPFS Community Code of Conduct. You can find that in the IPFS/community repo on GitHub. Please behave on your own and also treat other people around you with respect. My name is Dietrich. I'm your host. I'm the ecosystem lead of the IPFS project. We came up with this event to be able to learn more about how the web is changing with these new superpowers that you have with IPFS, Filecoin, other distributed protocols, methods of identity that can be owned by individuals. And we saw a bunch of that during the course of this event. So thank you all for joining. Thanks to all of the projects, people that showed up to participate. We had a whole bunch of different people that are working on making that web that we want to see in the world happen. And it was really a privilege to be able to hear from them how their projects work, what they built, and for them to teach us how to use what they've built. 13 speakers spoke at the opening summit. So thank you everybody who prepared talks or recorded talks or showed live to do a talk, answered questions. It was a fantastic experience. All those recordings are on the IPFS YouTube channel. There's a Browsers 3000 playlist. You can watch all of them. Thanks to all the people who showed up and gave a 1-hour learning session. These are invaluable. We get a peek into the nuts and bolts of these projects. We get a view into how the people that are making these things think about the world that they want to see and the web that we want to see. And I really appreciate the time that they spent to be able to join, share their projects, teach everybody how to use them, and learn more about what they're doing, what's coming up in our collective future. So thanks again to those folks. Thanks to the awesome team at Protocol Labs who showed up to answer questions in the chat, who made these wonderful designs for the event, who make live streams like this happen, and help work with all the speakers and the various partners who joined with us. It takes a lot of coordination to make any one of these events happen, and we do a lot of them, so we very much appreciate the time and attention that they put into making these events smooth, fun, and especially for people like Discordian who hang out in the channel and try to answer every single one of the questions that people ask about how to use some of these technologies. Thanks as well. Thanks also to the judges. There were 60 something or more submissions all total. So it's really a lot of work on their end to go through each one of your projects, evaluate, make sure it's working, and take a look at what you did and figure out who the prizes should be awarded to for the grand prizes. So thanks again for that time. It's very much appreciated. These are some of the experts in the field, people who are starting projects and building projects and companies and helping really pave the way for where we're going in Web3 generally. So we really appreciate their time and looking at every one of your projects and evaluating them. So without further ado, moving on to some of the partner bonus prizes. Unstoppable Domains. The Tuno project wins the Unstoppable $100 from the Unstoppable store in credit. A gamified content discovery platform. We're really seeing a lot of not just this event, but almost every event that we're involved in now. So much happening in Web3 and games. No more need to be locked into platforms that take 30% of what your revenue would be from your work and choose what you can and cannot publish. In the Web3 world, game creators, independent creators have a better platform than ever, and they need websites and applications like this to be able to easily show their work, share their work. So very cool project to see. Create Your Own Quiz won the Handshake Prize of $100. HNS. Create Your Own Quiz is a pretty cool app because you can, I love things like this where you would typically have to like sign your IP basically over to another company when you create content like this. But with Create Your Own Quiz, you can create something like this and just publish it on the distributed web. You own that content still. Other people can also host it, create it, fork it, and I think we're going to see more and more of these types of projects or applications, right, where you kind of bring your own front end, create your own content, and move on. So that's very cool, and happy to see that recognized for their use of Handshake. MetaMask. There were 5 projects that qualified and won the MetaMask prize. This prize is an entry to the Consensus Blockchain Developer Online Bootcamp this year. It's a really cool opportunity to level up your skills. So congratulations to Blockforge, DTube, NFT video recording, Packet, and SocioDAP for winning the MetaMask Partner Prize. And thanks to all the partners who put up prizes, who evaluated the projects that won, and participated in the event. Generally, almost every one of those projects also showed up for learning sessions. We really appreciate the overall participation. And thanks for the builders who submitted to these projects and the prizes. Moving on to the pool prize. Protocol Labs offered a pool prize, Filecoin that would be distributed between all of the projects qualified that use IPFS or Filecoin in some way. A whole bunch of projects qualified. This is a really long list, so I'm not going to read all of these out, but you should have already received a email from DevPost, our hackathon platform partner for this event, about how to validate this prize and acknowledge that, and then they will connect us with you. And this goes for all of the Protocol Labs prize winners. Get an email from us with instructions on how to claim your pool prize. Thank you, everybody who joined and built something that used the technologies and the stack that we're building together. Thanks for providing feedback and your questions in the channels. It's really inspiring to see so many projects and so many people building on top of these technologies and using the partner technologies as well. Very, very, very exciting and gratifying to see how many people joined and built things. So congratulations on winning the pool prize. Now on to the grand prizes. We had 3 grand prizes to award in this one. As you saw previously, these grand prizes were selected by a panel of judges, a couple of people from Protocol Labs, some people from other projects in the space, and some of the folks that are really architects of these technologies in this new world that we're developing. So thanks for their time and care in evaluating these final prizes. The 3rd prize goes to IPFS WebGL Gaming. Again, we're really seeing a lot of action in Web3 and gaming. There's really the needs of game authors and the dire constraints of some of the game platforms mean that Web3 is really positioned in an interesting way to provide both not just access to games, but also platforms for that can be interoperable. And any of the tools that help make that easier to build those games are super, super important. The WebGL Gaming Project uses WebGL, which is technology that actually lets kind of web pages access the video card on the underlying hardware of the device to accelerate games, to make them more performant, use less memory, use less CPU, by being able to optimize that code to run where that heavy duty lifting, moving around of polygons needs to happen. And that's on the video hardware itself. So thanks IPFS WebGL Gaming, and congratulations for winning the 3rd place prize. 2nd place prize, congratulations to Blockforge. This is a really, really neat site that allows you to, as a non-technical person, be able to drag and drop and build your Web3 website. I think more and more we're going to need this type of approach if we want the Web3 to expand and grow, and for more and more people to have more agency over the content that they put online. At one point, what WordPress, a centralized web publishing service you may have heard of, was almost 60% of the websites online. So the kind of there is no ceiling really to the need for this type of tool in people's lives online, and that really shows us how important building these types of solutions are on Web3. One of the differences with Web3 is that you really can have a lot more choices about these types of projects. So having something like this available to people to try out, it's really user-friendly, easy to use and build. We've seen that Squarespace and Wix and a bunch of other things pop up over the years, Medium and things like that. But having something that is easy to use, build a website that really reflects how you want it to look and how you want it to act is really important. And the implementation that these folks did was great and very much acknowledged by the judges with this second place prize. Thank you so much for joining the building. And let's move on now to the winners of the first place prize for Browsers 3000. And that is, oh yes, you're right. I did not update the prize amounts. Thanks, Ryan. No, the prizes are what they say on the website, not on these slides. The first place prize goes to NetSip.io. And this is a really interesting project. And this is something that I think reflects the challenge that we have in making a web that it can be in the hands of individuals, and the cost and responsibilities and accountability that entails. This is a project that uses collective wisdom to identify, label, and share potential malware or spam websites. If you work in the browser world and you make browsers, you understand pretty well the level of threat this is on the HTTP web. Websites can pretend to be other websites. It's very difficult to detect. Google puts a lot of work into a malware list that they distribute, but is centrally managed. They use their vast view, centralized view of the web to be able to provide that visibility into malware reporting. Other browsers use that list. For example, Firefox uses Google's malware list, and they download it and sync it and check every single website that you load when you're using the browser against this list. And the browsers work together and coordinate to be able to make sure the web stays safe. How do we, it's a really important job, and it really helps regular people on the web a lot, that centralized yet coordinated effort. But moving forward, how do we build a world where individuals have the ability to have that same level of safety in Web3? Right now we don't. Like, it's, things on Web3 are very, there's unregulated. There's a lot of stuff where it's difficult to tell. The trust model of Web3 is really different. It might work fine with individuals, and we still need to build up and fill that gap around how we create safety measures for a very independent, distributed, and peer-to-peer web. How we build systems for trust here is a fantastic experiment with what NetSip.io did, where they're using the collective crowdsourcing and the pseudonymous reputation systems to be able to come up with an approximation of a level of safety, and then share that information and make it integratable into other websites and services. So really congratulations to them. And I think the judges acknowledged the importance of this problem, and how powerful it is that we can use Web3. We can use blockchains, shared information, and public networks to be able to try to solve these problems moving forward. This is an example of the type of experimentation that we really, really need to see to be able to make a web that is both in our hands, but also safe to use. So thank you very, very much to NetSip.io for joining, creating this project, and sharing with us. You should all definitely check it out. I'm very, very much looking forward to a world where we can collectively make a safer, more trustable web for everybody, that it doesn't require being in the hands of one single for-profit company in order to make that happen. So thank you very much for joining, and congratulations on winning first prize. Thanks everybody who submitted all of these projects. Over 500 people registered, over 60 submissions in the end, and a bunch of interesting projects. Go to the DevPost website, and if you find Browser 3000 on there, you can see all of the submissions listed there. Almost every single one of them has source code available. You can use these projects as an example of the type of things that you want to build. You can take inspiration from them for ideas for new projects that you want to see. And we really look at these projects not only as templates that we can use for things that we want to build and for what other people want to show, but also these are ways to kind of show who's building things in the world, in this particular world. So if you're interested in taking your project to the next step, if your project qualify for the pool prize, you can also submit for a Protocol Labs Next Step grant on the IPFS/Dev Grants repo, and I'll share that information in the Discord channel. You can get an additional $5,000 worth of Filecoin to continue hacking on your app, adding new features, polishing existing features, making it production and user ready, or experimenting with yet more things to learn that we can learn from in what's working, what's not working, whether that's UX, underlying cryptographic functionality, connecting different services together, or making Web3 corollaries to existing Web2 services. Thank you very much for participating and building and submitting, and definitely check those apps out. We started this event because we use the web every day, and it's really important that we build a future where the web and browsers work for us, where users have just a little bit more agency and power in our lives online, and where we can make the decisions instead of having companies make the decisions for us. So thank you all for joining. Browser 3000.